Comparing children, why we shouldn't do it. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Jordan Peterson. This wisdom was originally directed at adults, those who are never satisfied with themselves and constantly look at what others have that they lack. But this advice to only compare yourself with your own version from yesterday is not only important for adults, it's just as crucial in how we raise our children. Parents often compare their children with other children or with societal norms. In doing so, they lose sight of their child's individual growth and progress. For children to grow into confident, strong individuals who are grounded in themselves, it's essential that comparisons happen internally, not externally. That means parents and caregivers must stop comparing children with one another. That instead they should create an environment where each child's individual abilities and progress are recognized and valued. Of course, a healthy sense of competition, especially in sports, has never harmed a child's development. Quite the opposite. Children naturally want to measure themselves against others. And we shouldn't take that away by, for example, removing scoreboards from youth sports. That's not what this is about. When children themselves choose to compete or compare, it's perfectly fine, because it comes from within. This is a positive form of comparison and an essential part of building strong self-confidence. All other kinds of comparisons, especially those made by adults between two children, can be deeply harmful to development. Imagine how frustrating it must be for a child who gives their best, makes progress, and then ends up being compared to someone or some norm that seems far better. That kind of comparison isn't fair because every child has different conditions, talents, abilities, and interests. Let's take an example. Imagine you're trying to build muscle at the gym and you're a complete beginner. Would it be fair to constantly compare yourself with a professional bodybuilder? Of course not. Why? The bodybuilder is already where you want to be. He has years of training experience. He knows exactly how each exercise works. He understands nutrition. He might have better genetics. And most likely, he has people supporting him. What this means is every person and every child is at a different stage of development. Where one person is advanced in area X, another may be ahead in area Epsilon. Everyone has different starting points and we need to accept that. That's why comparing children with each other or with a norm makes no sense. When adults stop seeing children as individuals, they lose long-term harm. Children naturally want to please their caregivers and seek their approval. But when they realize their own progress and efforts go unnoticed, they start criticizing and doubting themselves. They begin chasing an ideal that may never reach, causing their self-confidence and self-worth to collapse. Individual development, every child is unique. Lisa's parents are determined to make her a math prodigy. The family has always taken pride in generations of academic excellence in the science. Her parents constantly remind her that her older sister was already winning math competitions at her age, making Lisa feel smaller each time. But for Lisa, numbers feel like an endless maze. There's always only one right answer and no room for creativity or self-expression. She thinks to herself again and again. Lisa's heart belongs to music and beat production. Every song is different, and through music she can express who she truly is. But her parents don't understand her passion. They often say, "You can't make a living from music," and the only thing that matters to them is continuing the family tradition. Lisa feels more and more like the black sheep who doesn't belong in her family's shiny world. But in her best friend's family, she finally finds comfort and belonging. Her best friend's father plays in a band and has a great ear for producing beats. He supports Lisa wherever he can and gives her valuable advice. Lisa starts to make progress and sees the potential she has in music. Math isn't her world, but music completely captivates her. One evening, full of excitement, Lisa shares her dream with her parents to publish her music and make a living from it one day. But she hits a wall. Her parents respond sharply, saying no one in their family has ever chosen such an uncertain path. Without considering her feeling, her father gives her an ultimatum. Either you give up music and focus on science, or we're done talking. Devastated, Lisa tells her best friend's father about the situation. Shocked, he tries to speak with her parents, explaining that every person has different talents and that Lisa's musical abilities deserve encouragement. But his efforts are in vain. From that day on, Lisa cuts ties with her biological family. Her best friend's family takes her in and supports her in every way they can. Lisa never looks back. With her stepfather's guidance, she hones her craft, grows confident in her abilities, and takes pride in what she can do. Eventually, Lisa turns her dream into reality, earning a living through music and touching countless lives with her story. She had founded her path away from others' expectations, but close to her own heart. She never hears from her biological family again. What can we learn from this story? Comparison destroys the bond between parent and child. When parents compare their children to others or to societal standards, they create enormous pressure. Children strive to meet those expectations because they fear losing their parents' love and connections otherwise. They do everything to become someone they are not. But as they grow older, their desire for autonomy and self-determination increases, often leading to conflict when parental expectations clash with their own goal and interests. Strengths don't weaken a child's self-worth. Comparison can make children question their self-worth. They notice when they don't receive their parents' approval or affection. Constant comparisons send the message, you're not enough as you are. You have to achieve something to be loved. This teaches children to base their value on external achievements. I'm only worthy if I achieve X or Y. This belief can create deep insecurities that follow them throughout life. Our job as parents and caregivers is to show children that their worth is unconditional, that it doesn't depend on external factors. Of course, this isn't easy in a world where children constantly compare themselves to perfect people and perfect lives on social media, models with flawless bodies, people living in luxury, and so on. But if children learned to define their self-worth through their own sense of agency, and if parents model the habit of comparing themselves only to who they were yesterday, then children have a real chance to build a healthy, stable sense of worth based on who they are, not what they achieve. Not through comparing themselves to others, chasing their parents' dreams, accumulating material things, competing with fake lives on social media, but through a solid foundation of their own personality. Encouraging individual interests. Your child's interests don't have to be your own. It's okay if your child has different passions or life goals. The sooner we accept that every child is unique, the better we can support them. Observe what excites your child and show them that you accept and value them for who they are. When children feel free to express their authentic selves and know they are fully accepted, they build a deep emotional bond with their parents. Show tolerance and genuine interest. What truly excites my child? If your goal is to raise a confident and fulfilled child, you should be able to answer this question instantly. Passion fuels self-efficacy because when children love what they do, they engage deeply and develop their skills faster. Show genuine interest in your child's passions, support them actively, and guide them as they grow. Tolerance builds trust, and trust gives your child security. Through that trust, your child feels safe, seen, and supported.